so mesmerizing. Wow, that's incredible. I got this singing bowl years ago when me and my girlfriend and two other friends, we ventured up north for the fall foliage. We stopped in Boston, and actually no, it wasn't Boston. It was somewhere in Massachusetts, Salem. That's where we went. We stopped at a really interesting like spiritual shop, and one of my best friends saw that I really liked this, and he wanted to get it for me. So shout out to you. This video is on behalf of that. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just thought it'd be like a cool intro. I have done a lot of growth, both personally and spiritually, throughout the past like 5 years now. And it's been wild, and through all that growth, I've read a lot. And so with that, I wanted to put together, I'm sure there's going to be more than 10 books that I want to discuss in this, but for this, it's going to be my top 10 self-help books, the books that have really made an impact on my life. We're going to start off with the first and foremost book that I ever started reading when I got into self-help, actually coming out of therapy. It was interesting because the way that this one came about, which was my introduction to it, I simply asked my therapist a question, basically like, are there any books that you recommend? And he was like, yeah, read this one. And it was funny too because it was just such like a nonchalant question, and it changed my freaking life. I love it when that happens, you know, like it's just so low key, and you're like not really expecting it to like be much of like a just like this random book. No, like it just literally changed the course of my life. So the first book, number 1, is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And just to take out a quote from the book itself, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. And what's so fascinating about this book is that it goes into depth with just how much of like an incessant noise machine the unconscious and the subconscious mind is, you know, this conditioning aspect of it. And this was my awakening from, you know, the experiences of anxiety and depression, which really changed everything for me. Which is why it's so funny that it was just kind of like a nonchalant question of like, hey, do you recommend a book? Yeah, here's The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Great. It's like changed my life forever. Like it literally, like I read it and I was like, it's just like mind-boggling. It was incredible. So that's that, and really The Power of Now is basically in its name. It explores the power of the present moment and how there is nothing else. Both past and future are mental constructs, and it's crazy to think that really the present moment is all we ever have. You know, like we have regret about the past maybe, or maybe we don't because it was really great, and we have, you know, uncertainty about the future, or maybe we don't. Like, I don't, it's just the fact of the matter that the present moment is all there ever is. Like, everything else is an illusion, and it's wild. Like, don't get me wrong, you can learn from the past and you can plan for the future and everything, but you can also do it presently. Let's get on to number 2. Number 2, this one was actually, now I don't know if, no, you know what, I think that this one came before The Power of Now. Sorry, Eckhart, that's okay. The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. This book. Alright, let's go with the quote first. You enter the forest at the darkest point where there is no path. Where there is a way or path, it is someone else's path. You are not on your own path. If you follow someone else's way, you are not going to realize your potential. This is what I love too about The Hero's Journey, and what really helped me out with this, shout out to one of my greatest mentors in life, by the way. I'm not going to name any names just because I don't do that, but if he watches this video, he'll know who he is. This was in a time when I was really trying to discover what it was that I wanted to do with my life, and there were just like, you know, just so many different ways I was thinking about it and stuff. Basically, what this book helped me to do was to go within and understand what it is that I truly want. It's not about what other people want or about what other people want for me. It's what I want for myself. And that's what this book really helped me to realize. And also, interestingly enough, about this book actually helped what was his name? George Lucas. There we go. The creator of Star Wars. This book helped him finish Star Wars. He was stuck on it, and it actually just like and that's the thing too. Luke Skywalker is the hero in the journey. So, cool stuff, right? You learn something new every day. All right, moving on. Number 3, The Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. The quote goes, "If we focus on what's ugly, we attract more ugliness into our thoughts, and then into our emotions, and ultimately into our lives." And, you know, this is something that's huge. Intention is so key. Like, it's wild. Like, the amount of times that people, and it's mainly due to, like, unconscious behavior, that people aren't aware of what people aren't. Oh, I talk too fast. Let me try that again. I need to read a book on talking slower. Us Northeasterners, if that's even a word, whatever. The power of intention is literally what it says. It's very important. It's what a lot of people don't use. Well, everything is intention. Let me just say that right off the bat. Everything is intention. Everything that exists in this universe has been intended here. Yes, that is a very spiritual concept, but it's just the way it is. When we're not aware of what it is that we want, we're not really usually residing with conscious intention. There is some intention there because it was kind of like premeditated, I guess the word is, but it's so fascinating. And this book really helped me to figure out what it was that I wanted to ground myself with in terms of like intention moving forward. And it just changed the framework of how I experience every day of life. And it's just like, to be completely honest with you, my life had no order for a very long time. I was very lazy. And everything changed because I decided to implement intention. And I realized that I wanted to create from a place of conscious awareness, of realizing what it was that I wanted. Thank you, Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, for that. And also, rest in peace. He is unfortunately no longer with us, but I'm so glad that he was here in a time that we were here, because like such an impact, such a positive impact on people. Just like his work is remarkable. He's written so many books. There's Wishes Fulfilled. There are so many books, and they're incredible. So thank you, Wayne W. Dyer. Number 4, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This book changed my life forever. Oh my goodness. Talk about a deep and meaningful book. So the quote here, "The only way we can change our lives is to change our energy. To change the electromagnetic field we are constantly broadcasting. In other words, to change our state of being, we have to change how we think and how we feel." This is 100% true because it's just true. Everything is energy. We are energy. We are receiving energy. We are putting out energy. And if we're not aware of that, life's going to be just not what we want, you know? And also, very important to understand, in life, we don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. Very important to understand that. So like becoming supernatural is understanding that we just have these capabilities beyond what we're aware of. It goes into things like, you know, the pineal gland, goes into the chakra system. It goes into our genetics and how our genes can change in terms of expression, which can then change our physical expression. You know, like how our body expresses itself physically, we can change the expression of our genes, and then that physical appearance changes as an expression. Yeah. And that's just some wildly cool stuff. So I highly recommend that book. I still have it actually. Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. I rented it from the library, and it's just, it is awesome. I love it. Number 5, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. This book, I kind of felt like I knew what it was going to be like going into it, and I was right, but I also really enjoyed reading it because it's always kind of just like not so much of a reward when you already know the stuff that you're reading about. Like when you learn something new, that's when it's just like, yes. You know, like you learn something new, and it's just like, it's a beautiful learning experience. It's okay to, read something and find out that it's what you already knew. Of course, it's just kind of like reiterating that whole thing, and it's fine. It's cool. It's cool to learn something new. I love that. But yeah, for a quote from the book, The Untethered Soul, "There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it." This is 100% fact, because for starters, we are not the mind. We are the awareness behind whatever incessant noise activity is happening. And once you make that connection between, the noise, there's a bunch of noise going off. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Fear, sadness, anger, anxiety, depression, whatever it is in control of you until that happens. Until you're aware of it, and then once you're aware of it, you realize how, oh, okay, that's what's going on. And then a deeper kind of sense of understanding for all that stuff starts to take place. And then instead of being the prisoner of the mind, because it uses you, you become liberated. It's beautiful. I highly recommend The Untethered Soul. Thank you, Michael Asinger, for that book. It is incredible. Number 6. Coming back with a swing. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book, there are so many aspects of this book that are wild. And one of my favorite aspects of this book, honestly, was the aspect of it where it dealt with the whole matter of sexual energy transmutation, which is huge. Talk about some serious self-help, personal growth, spiritual growth stuff. That is some next level stuff, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, a quote from Think and Grow Rich is, "You are the master of your destiny." Yeah. I feel like if I didn't make these videos more on the fun side, they would just get really just I don't know, too serious, and I don't want to set that vibe. So yeah, it's important to do that. Number 7, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol S. Dweck. I just want to start off by saying this book has a lot to do with fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Fixed mindset is that you've been conditioned by a belief system stopping you from being able to take action because you think that maybe you're just not good enough or that it's just not going to work. And then growth mindset is realizing that you can do anything. It's just a shift in belief systems, and it's a freaking incredible read. I highly recommend it. Quote from the book, "No matter what your ability is, effort is what ignites that ability and turns it into accomplishment." Yes. Yes. Thank you, Carol S. Dweck. Incredible stuff. Number 8. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I know that I probably say that about every book that I read, but just it's Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is an incredible entrepreneur. I'm a huge fan of his work. He's an incredible person. And so Start With Why really brought me to come to an understanding of if you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to do in life, have a serious grounded why. And if you don't have a why, you're gonna have a hard time grounding with what you want in life. A quote from that is, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." And that, think about all the companies out there that launch products or launch services or whatever it is, and they have a backed why. Because you've got to start with why. Going back to, if you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to do with your life, really ground with a serious why. Don't just do it because your parents want you to do it, or because society tells you it's right, or because school told you it's right. No. No. Do it because you've got a serious why that's true to your heart and it makes sense. If it's coming from your parents and they're just telling you that it's the right thing, 100% question it. Have that conversation. It will not be easy, but it will change everything. And it's just the way it's supposed to be. So start with why. Number 9. Let's go in a bit of a more spiritual direction, I guess. Yeah. Savor, Mindful Eating Mindful Life by Thich Nhat Hanh. This book was really interesting to me. Shout out to Thich Nhat Hanh, by the way. He is someone who is Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and he's a peace activist. And he is really profound, like just his insights and everything. The reason why I liked Savor so much is because I was kind of someone who was, I don't know if like incessant eater is the right word for it. I'm pretty sure that like a majority of the population, they're just kind of like savages when it comes to, eating. They're just like, they get a plate of food and they're just like, nom, 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 shoveling it in their mouth and everything. And, maybe they're watching, television, watching true crimes or whatever it is. And they're just shoveling their food in their mouth. And this really brings you into the idea of how like mindful eating and just mindful living can change your life, and just how being aware of the food, like you're taking this gorgeous orange or this gorgeous banana, realizing the incredible, nutrients that's inside of it, and realizing how that's nourishing your body. And just the awareness of that changes everything. Like it takes you from a place of just like consumption to like, wow, this is incredible. It's just, and it's amazing. So thank you for that, Thich Nhat Hanh. I really enjoyed reading that. That was actually during a time when I was challenging myself to read a book a week. Got about 5 books in, and then I was like, this is kind of overwhelming. I still love reading, I still do it, but thank you for that. All right, moving right along. We're on our last one. Number 10. You Are the Universe. Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters by Deepak Chopra. I tried the best I could to say his name correctly, but I've heard people say Deepak. It's like, come on, you're butchering it terribly. But this book really talks about how we're more than just our bodies. And a quote from Deepak Chopra's You Are the Universe. I feel this pang inside. Is it my soul trying to break out, or the world's soul trying to break in? My mind trembles with the shimmering leaves. My heart sings with the touch of sunlight. My life is glad to be floating with all things into the blue of space and the dark of time. I really appreciate this quote because it really just mirrors the beautiful value that comes from the book, and talking about how we are more than just this physical body, how we are all connected to everything in this universe, and that's really what it is. You are the universe. You are more than just this body, this avatar. You are the trees, you are the animals, you are everything. And it's such an incredible book. Shout out to Deepak Chopra for that. Thank you so much for writing it. And thank you everyone for watching this video. Just a side note, I've really enjoyed my journey of personal and spiritual growth. It's been an incredible journey. I highly recommend it for anyone who's looking to better their... I need to better myself by learning to talk slower. For anyone who's looking to better themselves, it is a very rewarding journey. And, of course, as Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Take care.